Ashley, and behind the camera today we've got Caitlin.
Hi.
We're going to be talking about sergers today and some maybe specialty feet and features that maybe you didn't know you had. So I made this fun little basket the other day that is just 1.25 inch wide strips with a serged edge, and I've serged some wire in there. So I'm going to show you a little bit about how I did that. The really nice thing about this basket is that you can make it whatever size you want because you just use a cardboard box as your model. On here, I've got a strip I've already done. So I've just used 2 colors of heavier weight Wonderfill thread. I think this one is an 8-weight thread in the upper and lower looper. And then I've put wire in there so that whenever we build our box, it's a little bit more sturdy. After you get it all put together, we just put a little bit of hot glue in between the pieces so that they don't slide all over the place. But what you might not know is that you can insert wire with your elastic foot. So if you want to get up in here real close, I'll show you. There is, of course, the little piece for holding your elastic, but right on this inside, there's little holes where you can feed your wire through. So we are going to take a look at that. I have used this heat and bond double-sided fusible interfacing here. It comes in a big sheet. I just cut it up into the strips as wide as I needed. Fused it onto the wrong side of my fabric. And then as you peel it off, fuse on your other piece, and you end up with a double-sided piece of fabric. And that gives it a little bit more structure, helps it feed through with that wire a little bit easier. So I'm going to start by feeding my wire through our little holes here. And sometimes you need your tweezers to get it in there a little easier. I've cut a piece that is just a little bit longer than my fabric, but you could feed it off the spool if that's what's easier for you. And I'm just going to use my tweezers to kind of get it through that little hole. Sometimes it's easier if you open up your cover so it is out of the way. Get that through my little hole. And just pull a little extra to the back. There we go. The pattern that I used called for a 28 gauge wire. I had a 25 gauge and I was not going to buy new wire just to do this. So we've got our fabric underneath, our little double-sided strip here, our wire in that little hole, and then we're just going to serge very slowly so that I don't run over our wire. And as it goes through here...
Ashley, is it okay for my blade to be running while the wire is in there?
Absolutely. The wire is to the left of the blade, so it's not even going to cut it.
Awesome.
And I'm just cutting off a tiny piece here. Stitch that out. And this is the type of project that you dig out your old scissors from your kitchen that have been in the drawer for 10 years because you do not want to use your good scissors to cut your piece of wire. And you end up with your little wire just nestled nicely into your thread. And you don't even see it in there. And that way you can bend it, shape it. This would be a good thing to use if you're making wreaths, bows, all sorts of stuff. If you want to make wire ribbon for your Christmas tree, you could do that. Over here, wanted to talk to you a little bit about our specials that we've got going on for this week's New It Too. This is my little picture for our elastic foot here, regularly $75.99. I think if you come in and get it this week, it's probably, oh, how does $49.99 sound?
Sounds good to me.
Our little heat and bond fusible package of stuff that I used here comes in a great big old sheet here, and this one I've already cut pieces off of, and it just keeps going. Oh, it's like Hermione's bag from Harry Potter. Just opens all the way up. That is 1.25 yards by, well, it just looks like a big square. It's only $3. So, and all of our stores have that, so come on in and get that. I, of course, just use my Quilter Select ruler that I always use. You guys know that. I preach that over and over and over. As far as thread, I used a 12 weight here. You could use an 8 weight. Wonderfill has great 8 and 12 weight threads that we have on sale half off. We also happen to have Madeira decorative threads. I believe these are a 12 weight as well. And those are going to be half off this week too. So we're going to run over to the Bernina L890 and show you a couple more things up there. All right, we are over at the L890 now, and we're going to talk a little bit about this pillow that I made. I made this entire pillowcase on this machine, and if you came to Oklahoma City's Be Inspired Club a few months ago, you would have seen this already. A lot of normal things that you see pretty often using the serger outside of just doing a clothing hem. I have, of course, our backside of our cover stitching on here, backside of our chain stitching. I did some markings on the backside of the fabric and just followed those. So those are the looper side that you're seeing there. I had a variegated thread in there, made it really fun. Did the piping on the serger, of course your rolled hem and your ruffles. And one that you may not see as often is, this is a 3-thread flat lock. I did a narrow on this machine, or on this pillowcase, but I'm gonna show you a wide today, just so it picks it up a little bit easier on camera. There's a little bit what that's gonna look like whenever we're done with it, the wide compared to the narrow. So I've got our machine set up for the 3-thread flat lock wide. I just need to finish threading our loopers. And if you don't know, Bernina has air threading on their loopers as well. So you just kind of hold your thread over, press your foot control, and it just shoots right out the other side. Same thing for our next one. Same thing here, no right or wrong order to thread it in. There's our lower looper. Pull that through to the back side.
Open your tubes.
There we go. Put our little trim bin in. And I've just got our standard overlock foot on here, got the left overlock needle in, so that gives us a little bit more distance from that blade, so that we get that wider stitch. Go ahead and stitch along here. And if you sew more than I do, then you probably sew a straight line. Off on the side, and whenever you open that up, you get your flat lock.
So what does it look like on the back?
It just kind of tucks it all in there.
Very nice.
And this pillow was a lot of my first experiences with the serger. I hadn't really used one a whole lot aside from just knowing how to use it for demo purposes. But I'd never really made like a full project on one, so that was a lot of fun for me to kind of learn how to do that. And if, like I said, if you came to our Be Inspired Club a couple months back, then you've heard me give this spiel before. But that is, I think, all that we've got for our sergers today. Again, that elastic foot for the baby lock machines are on sale for $49.99. The Wonderfill thread is all half off, and the Madeira heavier weight thread is all half off for the rest of this week. Give us a call, come into your local Be Sew In, and thank you for joining us for New It Too.